Hello, this is Shitu, your mathematics teacher. This video is brought to you by IOTA Virtual Learning. In today's lesson today, we are going to be solving WAEC past questions on functions and relations. Now get your writing materials ready and join me. Now, we have this WAEC question from relations and functions. So the question said two functions f and g are defined by f of x 2x squared minus 1 and g of x is 3x plus 2. So where x is a real number. So we have these two questions under it. The question said if f of x plus 1 minus 7 equals 0, we should find the value of x. Then also we should evaluate f of minus 1 over 2 multiplied by g of 3 divided by f of 4 minus g of 5. So this is coming from WAEC past questions and from theory. So I want you to write this question down. All right, pause it, write the question down, solve it, and come back to check the solution. Right. So let's have the solution. Now from here, from the question, the two functions f, that is f, we can write it instead of these two dots, we can have it like f of x equals 2x squared minus 1. The same thing, g of x, the same thing as g of x equals 3x plus 2. Right? So now this is what we are going to be using. Now, going for the first question, we have f of x plus 1 minus 7 equals 0. So they want us to get the value of x if these functions happens to be like this. So therefore, since we are having f here and we are having f of x here, so this is telling us that x plus 1 represents the value of x here. So now from the function, anywhere we see x, we are going to be replacing it with x plus 1. So what I'm saying now is that when x is x plus 1, so we're going to have f of x plus 1 to be, we're going to pick this f of x here, this is going to be 2, into bracket, anywhere we see x, no, we're going to be placing x plus 1 all squared minus 1. So now from here, I want to expand this x plus 1 all squared. So x plus 1 all squared, x plus 1 all squared is going to be x plus 1, x plus 1, that is this will be multiplying this. It's like having 2 squared, and 2 squared is going to be 2 times 2, right, which is going to give us 4. So we have x plus 1 all squared, so it means that you're going to be having x plus 1 times x plus 1. So we open the bracket by using this to multiply this. We have x times x, we have x squared, x times this, we have plus x, then plus x again, then we have plus 1. X times x, x squared, x times 1, x, 1 times x, x, 1 times 1, 1. So we have x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now let's bring this back. Okay, so we're going to have f of x plus 1 is now going to be 2 into bracket. You know, x plus 1 squared is this. So I'm going to replace it, x squared plus 2x plus 1, then minus 1. Are you following? So now from there, we're going to have what? 2x squared plus 2 times 2, we have 4x. 2 times 1, we have 2 minus 1. Are you getting it now? So now, I would like you to pause the video now, right? So we can erase this place, okay? Because I want this question to be seen, all right? So I want us to pause the video. Kindly erase this. I will erase this, but I'm going to have this. You should take note of that because we are going to continue from there. So we have f of x plus 1 to be equals to, according to what we have the other time, x squared, 2x squared plus 4x, right, plus 2 minus 1. So this will be 2x squared plus 4x. 2 minus 1 is going to give us plus 1. So from here, f of x plus 1 minus 7 f of x plus 1 minus 7 equals 0 now. So we are going to pick this. F of x is this, right? We're going to have 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. Then we are having this minus here, which is equal 0. So we're going to be having 2x squared plus 4x plus 1 minus 7. We're going to be having minus 6 equals 0. So now from here, you can see that this equation is divisible by 2. It means we can divide this by 2, right? Everything by 2, and we're going to have x squared plus 2x then minus 3 equals 0. So now, which led us to a simpler equations of what? Equation of quadratic. So now from here, when you want to factorize this, we're going to factorize this one, and it's going to be in this form, right? Equals 0. So we're going to put x here. I put x here, so that when you say x times x, it will give us this x squared. So now we are going to look for the two factors of minus 3, so that when you multiply them together, you're going to have minus 3. But when you add them together, you're going to have plus 2x here. So now what we are going to do is we are going to have minus 3 plus 3 times minus 1. So plus 3 times minus 1 will give us minus 3. But if you said plus 3 plus minus 1, plus minus, that's going to give us a minus. So we're going to have 3 minus 1, and that's going to give us 2, which is what we have here. So we're going to have plus 3 and minus 1, right? So that is that. From there, so we're going to have what? We're going to have from there, we're going to have x plus 3, x minus 1 equals 0. So we're going to have x plus 3 to be equal 0, or x minus 1 be 0. That is 0 form equation of quadratic. So which means if these 3 to go to the right hand side, we're going to have x to be minus 3, or we have what we have, x to be, if this to go to the right hand side, we are going to change to a positive. We have x equals 1. Right, so please pause and write it down. I'm going to erase this, right? So I have the value of x to be minus 3 or 1. So these are the two, and they belong to set of real numbers according to what they said, where x is a real number. So these or these minus 3 and 1, they are set of what? They belong to the set of real numbers. Okay, so that is the solution for the first one, the value of x they asked us to find, right? So now we go to the second problem, number 2. Now the question says evaluate f of minus 1 over 2. So now we know that f of x is equal to, according to what we have here, 2x squared minus 1. So what we need to do here is that anywhere you see x, because this minus 1 over 2 represents what? X here. X will be minus 1 over 2. So now put minus 1 over 2 into this, that is substitution. You have 2 into bracket, minus 1 over 2 all squared, then minus 1. So from there, we're going to have 2 into bracket. Now, you are going to square what we have inside the parentheses, right? You're going to have minus 1 squared, and that's going to give us 1. Minus 2 squared, that's going to give us 4, then minus 1. So we have 2 times 1. You can see 2 here, 1, 2 here, 2. We're going to have 1 over 2 minus 1. So now, if you simplify this order, I get that this is going to give us minus 1 over 2. That is, this one is like over 1, right? So 1 times 2, we are going to have 2. 1 times 1, we have 1. Minus 2 times 1, we have 2. So this is going to give us 1 minus 2 is going to be minus 1 over 2. So we have f of 1 minus 1 over 2 to be what? Half. That is minus 1 over 2. Do you understand now? So that's also give us minus 1 over 2, right? So which means the image of f of minus 1 over 2 still give its image. It's like a mirror, you know, when you're looking at yourself, so you still be seeing yourself. I get now. So looking at yourself inside the mirror, so the image will still be giving you the yourself. So that is what is happening here. Now also we're going to look for, before we can combine this together, so we need to look for each of them. So we have g of x. So for this, we're going to pick g, where our x is going to be 3 here, because anywhere we see x, and we know that g is what? G is 3x plus 2. right? G is 3x plus 2. So please kindly pause, write it down. So because I'm going to erase this so we can continue from there, is because of the size of the board, right? So now let me write this here. We are going with the 2, so we have g of x equals 3x plus 2. So now g of 3 now is going to be 3 into 3 plus 2. 3 times 3 will give us 9 plus 2. So we have 9 plus 2, that is what? That is 11. So we have g of 3 to be 11, right? So now the next one we are going to do is that we're going to look at g of, we look at f of, we come down here, look at f of 4. We know that f of 4 is going to be 2 into bracket. We're going to pick for f. X will be 4, all squared minus 1. 2, 4 squared is 16, then minus 1. So this is 2 times 16. We're going to have 30, we're going to have 32, then minus 1. So this is going to be 32 minus 1, we're going to be having 31. So f of 4 is 31, right? Then we look for g of 5. You know, this is what? This is g there. So it means, look at g here. So that means we're going to have 3 into bracket. Wherever you see x, okay, look at it there. X is going to be 5, right? Then plus 2. So we're going to have 3 times 5. 3 times 5, that's going to be 15 plus 2, right? Then 15 plus 2, that will give us what? 17. So g of 5 is 17. G of 5 is 17. Are you following? So now we are now going to, bring all of this together so that we'll be able to, so join everything together to find this fraction, to evaluate this fraction we are given. So now, please, I want you to write it down. I'm going to erase the board. All right, so from there, we have, these are the things we got. We have this to be f of minus 1 over 2 to be minus 1 over 2. Then we have g of 3 to be 11, right? Then we have f of 4 to be 31. Then we have g of 5 to be 17, right? So therefore these are the things we need. So we are now coming here now. So now we're going to have here f of minus 1 over 2. This is going to be minus 1 over 2, right? This dot means multiplication. Multiplying g of 3 is 11. We have this. Then divided by f of 4 is 31. We put 31 here. Minus g of 5 is 17. We put the 17 here. So we're going to have, now this 11 is like 11 over what? 11 over 1. So we multiply this by this. It means 11 we multiply minus 1. We're going to have minus 11. Divided by 1 times 2. We're going to have what? 2. Now look at this. This is division. Now I can change that division to division sign like this. And you know that 31 minus 17 will give us what? Will give us, that is divided. 31 minus 17 will give us 14. Right? Yes, it's going to give us 14. That is, we have 31, 17 minus, so both one here we have 11 minus 7, that will give us 4. Remain 2 here, 2 minus 1 we have 1, right? So that's why we have 14, right? So from there, and you know that this 14 is like over 1 also, we're going to have minus 11 over 2 multiplying. So if you want to change, if you change this division sign to multiplication, so 1 will go up 1 will go up 14 will come down, we have 1 over what? Over 14. So minus 11 times this, we're going to have minus 11 divided by 2 times 14, and that is going to be 28, right? So therefore we have the solution here to be minus 11, right? That is here minus 11 over 28. Okay, that's what we have, minus 11 over 28, right? And for this place here, the one we did, so we have x to be equals minus 3 or what? 1. So these are the two possible values of x we got, right? And that's the end of the class. if I believe you enjoyed the class, right? So I want you to look out for questions that are related to this so that you'll be able to solve and use this knowledge, all right? So to apply this knowledge to solve the problem, okay? And I believe you're going to pass your WAEC exam very well. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.